It's the home of 9/11, the place of the lost towers. We still banging, we never lost power. Tell them. New York City, New York City, New York, New York City, New York City, New York City. Yeah, stop playing games, ma. You know my name, ma. Ain't nothing changed, shit is real, still the same, ma. I still live it up, whoop, still kid it up. I still rock the big RPs, glittered up. Might fuck you up.
What is up, guys? Welcome to another episode of Maximilian Must Know. This show brings me full circle, and that the first scent I ever reviewed on this channel was Bond No. 9's New Harlem, and now almost 7 months later I'm reviewing another Bond scent, this one their newest creation entitled BondNo9.com. We briefly talked about the brand history in that first video, but we'll recap here for those of you who didn't watch it or those of you who want a little bit of a refresher. So Bond No. 9 is a fragrance house that was launched as an homage to a city. And this city is the one that I was born and raised in, and that, of course, is New York City. The house was launched in the year 2003 by a woman named Laurice Ram, who had previously worked as a distributor for Knick and Creed. A lot of people think that she was inspired by Creed heavily, and there are quite a few similarities between some of the Bond No. 9 scents, and the Creed scents. A lot of people think Shea Bond smells like Green Irish Tweed, and that Hampton smells like Silver Mountain Water. And the latest sort of controversy is that .com, which I'll be calling this scent in the video at least, smells like Aventus, which is Creed's one of their newest and most popular male scents. We'll get into that a little bit later. The name Bond No. 9 comes from the address of the company's headquarters in NoHo. I worked a block away from Bond No. 9 when they were first opening up. I worked for a real estate company on Great Jones Street called City Habitats at the time. I'm doing luxury apartment rentals and sales in the Soho and NoHo area, and my office was a block over from Bond Street on Great Jones Street. And Bond Street, for those of you who aren't New Yorkers, is a cool little avenue, only a couple blocks long, that has some chic shops, some gorgeous loft apartment buildings, and an awesome sushi spot. So if you're in the neighborhood, check that out. Sushi spot is called Bond Street. It's not cheap, but if you're shopping at Bond No. 9, I'm going to believe that you appreciate the finer things in life. Now, the sort of signature of this brand, besides naming the scents after New York neighborhoods like Chinatown, Italy, Harlem, Coney Island, is the beautiful star bottles that are often colorful and sometimes decorated with high-end things like flowers or Swarovski crystals, and sometimes come with accessories like bracelets and necklaces. Now, with that said, usually those higher-end bottles are not cheap. They come with a price tag, but you almost always have the option of getting the scents in a less decorative bottle or a pocket spray for a cheaper price. Pricing really does range for most of their scents. You can often find them online at discount sites for as little as $100 for a 50 ml, $140 for a 100 ml. But if you go the retail route, you can wind up paying as much as $340 or $400 for a 100 ml, and around $250 for a 50 ml. The bottles are pretty much all available at their boutiques, online, at Saks, and on some discount sites. And you can now get their entire I Love New York series, which is sort of a less expensive series of scents from Bond. You can pretty much get those now, I think, at all Sephora locations. And someone from Sephora told me that the plan is to see how sales of those scents go before perhaps releasing more from the line to be sold there. But just so you guys know, it's not going to be easy for you to purchase a decant of any of their scents through legit sites like Decant Shop, which, you know, sponsors some of my videos, or Perfume Court, because Bond No. 9 sued to stop that from happening a few years back. And I think to save themselves a lot of trouble, most online vendors stopped carrying their scent. Now, you can still get it on splits the same way you can play a neighborhood poker game, but you can't really purchase decants through a retailer. And to me, that's a two-sided coin. When I'm paying over $100 for a scent personally, I feel like I need to wear it a few days to test longevity, projection, sillage, and what other people think of it. So I like decants and samples. You guys know that I do at least one sample shopping episode a month, sometimes two. But on the flip side, and from Bond's perspective, it's very hard to control those sales. So while most of the sites are legit, and there's nothing stopping a shady website from bottling something like Michael Jordan Legend or Rokas Man in place of New Harlem and pocketing the profits, 9 out of 10 consumers will have no idea, and then they might decide that that $150 bottle of New Harlem is just not worth it. So I get it from their perspective, and with that said, they're quite generous with their samples at their boutique. So you take with the good and the bad in fragrances as you do in life, I think. Now, I've got a lot of fragrances on my to purchase list from Bond number 9. This is currently only the second one that I own, the other being New Harlem. I have samples or decants of mostly, I think, almost everything in their line. And other scents that I really like and is on my to purchase list are like Riverside Drive, Brooklyn, Wall Street, Bleecker Street. Those are all on my radar. But this one I got the chance to smell about 6 weeks back. A friend had a sample. And I knew that as soon as it was released, I was probably going to be picking up a bottle. And those of you who saw my Aventus review know that I was very much let down with my batch. To me, it was all smoke and ambergris and almost no pineapple or apple. And it's not bad. I won't call it bad, but I paid $200 for that bottle and feel a little bit ripped off. And this scent appealed to me. We'll talk about that when we talk about the actual fragrance. I went with the smaller bottle, guys. I got the 50 ml for 140 bucks. The 100 ml is a steep $110 more, so not too far off from the double up. And the discount wasn't great enough for me to double up. You know, I'm at a point where I have well over 100 fragrances in the library. Probably never going to go through the 50 ml of the fragrance in this bottle, so this choice was pretty easy for me to make. This is solely available, at least as of now, on Bond's website. And it makes sense because it's a scent that was sort of inspired by the web. You can't get this at their flagship location, and there is something a little curious about that to me. I called a few weeks ago and the manager took my name and number and told me she'd call me back when they got these in. And she said she'd call me back in a few days. About a week later, I hadn't heard anything, so I called the store back, and they told me the scent would only be sold online. But when I actually got it in the mail, the address it came from was 9 Bond Street, so I think they have these, maybe not at the store, but at in the building, maybe at their shipping office. But you have to come online to buy it, and I'm not sure how I feel about that just yet. Let's talk about the packaging and presentation quickly. As I said, I ordered this online, and I got it, I think, 2 days later, or possibly the next day. It was unbelievably fast. I do live in Manhattan on the Upper East Side, so it wasn't coming that far. It came in this gorgeous Bond paper, the bottle wrapped in, and as you can tell, I live in New York. The fucking sirens every 5 minutes. Sorry about that, but anyway, it came with this really nice paper, which I appreciated. And when you order your scents from Bond number 9, you're given an option in the shipping box to list what samples you like. You get 3 per order. And I listed ones I really want to try and wear to see if I'm going to get them. Bleecker Street, I think Riverside Drive, and Ode to New York. Ode to New York really after Steven's review really piqued my interest. So I wrote those 3 in, and I added a few in case I needed to put in backups, like Brooklyn, I think Silver Factory. And so I was really excited to get those. And so when I opened my package up and I looked at the samples, they're not here. I took them out, but none of them were for the scents I requested. They were Coney Island, Hamptons, and Fire Island. And I was a little bummed out because I'd smelled Coney Island and Hamptons before. I hadn't smelled Fire Island, and I am going to buy that. I really like that. It smells a lot like really good suntan lotion. I think it's a beautiful, beautiful scent, Fire Island. But I specifically requested 3 samples, and I didn't get them, so I was definitely bummed about that, but that's part of life. So you get the 3 with your fragrance. You might not be able to get the 3 you want. So beautiful wrapping paper. Of course, the card talks about the fragrances a little bit, talks about a very high concentration. Let's see if we can get in there. 18 to 22% concentration in these fragrances, which do make them eau de parfum. So they're very, very well blended and using a lot of essential oils. So, you know, that probably does justify the price. Now, as far as the box goes, you've got the QR code. This scent was inspired by being online. I'm sure you guys know the QR codes are what you can scan with your phone to find out more information about products. You've got your barcode on the back and some information. Inside the card to mail back to be put on their list, and a place to put the fragrance where it can be held quite securely. So I love this presentation. I love the colors too, which really do pop. And then as far as your bottle goes, batch code on the bottom. Same design throughout the bottle. Nice cap. Sits well on top. My New Harlem didn't sit as well. It's a little bit loose. This one sits firmly. Atomizers for Bond are not great. You could tell, but they're not bad either. They're just okay. So your standard Bond presentation, I have to tell you though, I really do like the way this bottle looks. Now notes here are going to be bergamot, pineapple, juniper berry, apple, blackcurrant, cedarwood, patchouli, moss, musk, and amber. Now this shares 7 notes with Aventus, and what should jump out at you is that the fragrance contains juniper berry and Aventus contains birch. So to me at least, that's the biggest standout difference when you look at the notes. The question I keep getting from people online is this the Aventus killer? Has Aventus finally met its match? Because everyone knew that Illumindine's Fresco did not even put a dent into the Creed armor. Some people like it and buy it, but if they think they have an Aventus replacement, they're clearly smoking crack. So does this one slay Aventus? No, but it doesn't have to because it's still a pretty good fragrance. Here's the thing, guys. I got a bad batch of Aventus. It's top heavy on the smoke and birch and very light on the fruit, the pineapple and the apple. And this is a problem that Creed has with at least a couple of fragrances. From what I've ascertained, these problems do not exist with Bond number 9. Nobody's swapping batches in New Harlem and Riverside Drive. So for me at least, I do like this better than my version of Aventus, but I'm glad that I own both. Aventus, even the smoke-heavy batch, is a really good scent. It's unique, it broke ground in different ways, and it's got that unmistakable Creed quality. Bond.com is also a really nice fragrance. It's got a great pineapple note at the top that nicely blends with the apple and bergamot in there. It sort of reminds me of a high-quality orange juice blend, like those Tropicana orange pineapple juices, but a little bit, but really fresh fruit, so a higher quality. It's very forward and crisp to my nose. Now, as I said, I smelled this a long time ago, but on skin specifically, I was excited to get this on my skin a couple days, and I'm excited about it now. The opening lasts for a nice long time, and if you could imagine an Aventus batch without the smoke, that's what you're sort of looking at here. Just beautiful pineapple, blackcurrant, and apples. That's what you have. Now, it is a very linear scent. There's not a ton of evolution or change. So I feel like what happens is that everything starts to dissipate and lose steam, but that happens slowly. So you've got that really ripe pineapple for quite some time. The musk and amber are always there in the back, but don't go looking for them because it's not too easy to find them. That pineapple's really forward and aggressive, and it's got its arms wrapped around every stage of this scent. And you know, something else to say about Bond's fragrances, which I believe, as I said, all are eau de parfums. So they have an incredible quality of their own. I think that this one sticks pretty close to the skin, but I'm still getting about 10 hours of this stuff, and there's some decent sillage, even if it doesn't project beast mode. I think you could go with 5 sprays of this, I would say, you know. And this could be unisex. And I think this is a scent that all ages would enjoy. I could see a teenager rocking this, maybe not an older gentleman. He might find it a little bit hokey, but I don't think this is seasonal. I think you could do this year-round. I wonder how it will hold up during the winter when heavier scents are more often called for. To me, guys, this is a 7 out of 10. I really like this, but it's not the best scent I've ever smelled, and it's not the best that Bond's ever put forward. Obviously, the pineapple blackcurrant apple mix isn't the most original combination in the game. My favorite Bond number 9 scents are the ones that for the most part are pretty much original. The New Harlems, the Bleecker Streets, the Silver Factories of the world. The scents that they make that sort of mimic the Creed scents to my nose are usually very rarely, if ever, better. I think the only one I might like better, and I'm not sure, is Hamptons versus Silver Mountain Water. I would have liked for this scent to have taken a different direction, if even just so that it couldn't be compared to Aventus, and the naysayers won't be able to make claims about Bond's originality. Because Bond number 9 is a great fragrance house and one that reviewers and consumers both really like. There's something in this line for everyone and usually a lot more than just one scent. If you're a collector or just a niche fragrance enthusiast, I'd be quite surprised if you didn't have at least one Bond bottle in your collection. They also have damn good marketing and maybe the best packaging of any niche brand out there with a few exceptions. The quality of detail is really impressive in the scent and the packaging. It's a good scent, one I'm glad that I picked up. Usually it takes me about a week to know whether I wish I had spent my money on a different scent from a particular house. And here I'm really pleased that I picked this one up. as I think this is going to be a compliment getter for a long time to come. So this could have a place in your rotation, or just in your collection, the same way Aventus could. They're different scents. They're both interesting, both different, and they both could be called for on different occasions. I would definitely recommend, at the very least, checking this out, because I think Bond and Larice did a great job with this scent. So definitely check it out. Anyway, that is going to be this week's episode, guys. We have 3 videos coming up next week, okay? First, we have another episode of Sample Shopping, where we're going to be doing women's scents. Then we have, on Friday, I'm going to try to drop the collection video part 1. That's going to be a series of videos because it's too much to all do in one take. And then next Sunday, we're either going to be reviewing a scent from either Christian Dior, their Eau Sauvage Parfum, or Cartier's Roadster, which I am freaking in love with right now. So, oh, it's YouTube, I can curse. I'm fucking in love with it, okay? Anyway, so thank you so much for watching. Check out the 3 videos for next week. Don't forget to hit like and subscribe. And I am Maximilian. Thank you so much for watching.
New York City, first the fat boys break up. Now every day I wake up, somebody got a problem with hope. What's up, y'all niggas all fed up? Cause I got a little cheddar and my records moving.